I'm Neil from Board Game Happy, and thank you very much for joining me today for a review of Little Ghost. This is a 2 to 4 player card shedding game with some bluffing thrown in for good measure. It's been very kindly sent to me by Betonmond. The designers are Vivian Swartz and Kevin Davis, and it has some absolutely gorgeous art by Chris Riddle. It's been a real pleasure to be sent this game and to learn it and play it and teach it to lots of other people. Let me take you down to the table, show you how the game plays, and then I'll bring you back up for my final thoughts. Okay, cheers.
Okay, Little Ghost is a card shedding game for 2 to 4 players, plays in about 15 minutes. Card shedding games, if you're unfamiliar with them, are games where you have a hand of cards at the beginning and you're trying to get rid of them over a round or a series of tricks that are played to the table. Probably Scout is the one that is most famous example of this at the moment. But Little Ghost is not only a card shedding game, it is also a bluffing game, which adds a really interesting twist. So before I get into the how to play and the opinions on the game itself, I wanted to say what an amazing art direction the game has taken. For example, I mean, look at the lost eyes the lost soul in the eyes of this little ghost. Absolutely adorable. You will see that there are 5 suits, each numbered 1 through to 10, and on each card, each and every card has a unique drawing, and it appears that the little ghost is wandering around the house and the grounds and the beach and the stairs, looking through windows, trying to find someone. I think for me, he's trying to find his friend. He can't find his friend. It's absolutely lovely. I really, really like the artwork. The player card numbers and the suit types are very easy to differentiate when they're in your hand. Really like that. Even though the numbers are small, they're really easy to read, and that really helps. And it means that because the numbers are kept small, you can really admire the artwork. And like I said, absolutely love it. So yeah, that's pretty amazing artwork. I will also mention the back of the artwork as well, which is also wonderful, and I believe that might be Little Ghost's final resting place. Anyway, let's get on to the how to play. Okay, to start off, this is a 3-player example of a game. Each player has been dealt 7 cards. This player will be the starting player. They will look at their hand of cards and they must declare one of the suits to play, and then they will play a trick. And I will show you the different examples of a trick. So effectively, there are 3 examples. They're going to call out as their first suit, they're going to call out blue. Why not? So what they're going to do is they can either play a card face up to the table. So this is a 5 blue. They can play a card face down and call blue. They don't need to call out a number. Or they can play a card with shadows. When you play a card with shadows, you play 1 card face up, then as many cards as you like face down. The deal is these must all be the same number as this. Obviously, they would all be different suits. So far, so good, so easy to understand. Then if I was to play the 5 blue, the next player would look at their hand and they have to play a blue card that is higher than that. Now, they haven't got a blue card which is higher than that. They have a number of options now. They can pass, in which case they're not out of the round because the game keeps on going round and round and round. And if it comes back to them and not everyone else has passed all together, then they can continue with the trick. Or what this game allows you to do is bluff. So what you could do is play a card face down. You're saying that is a blue, that it is higher than that one. Now this player here has a choice because they can call out this player as bluffing if they want to do so, and I'll explain why you would and wouldn't want to do so in a minute. But let's say, for example, they've taken that word as gospel that this is a blue and it's higher than the 5. This then resets the blue numbers effectively to 0. So this player now can play any number they like. And once again, they can play a trick. So they could play the 3 face up or the 3 face down. That's absolutely fine. Or what they could do is a little bit of bluffing themselves. And they could try and short a suit by playing like this. So they're saying this is a 3 with a 3 shadow. Now, we know that it's not a 3 with a 3 shadow, but once again, it leaves it up to this player to decide whether or not they want to call them out as a bluff. They're not going to call them out, but what they're going to do is they're going to play some shadows with a 7 themselves. So as you can see, everyone's starting to lose the cards out of their hand. Now, this player only has 1 more blue left. but they don't think they're going to get away with bluffing again. So what they're going to do is they're going to pass. This player can play a 9. They're going to just play a 9 face up. They don't want to be caught out. They've done that. Now this player is getting close to finishing. So what they're going to do is they're going to put this card face down. So effectively they're saying that this is a 10 blue. Now if someone else had the 10 blue, if this player had the 10 blue, they could call them out. It's only the next player that can call out a bluff. But they're going to call out a bluff anyway, even though they haven't got the 10. They're going to call them out a bluff. Now I'll explain what happens when you call out a bluff. When you call out a bluff, this player has to reveal the card they played. It's obviously a lie. What happens then is that card goes back into this player's hand. This player becomes the start player for the next summonings. These cards are moved to one side, they're taken out. This player now gets to start the next summoning. The only rule here is that they can't use the same suit to call the next summoning. You can't have two blue summonings in a row, for example. You could have blue, red, blue, as an example. So this player will call a purple summoning and play a card face up. Now, if when this player called out this player as being a liar, bluffing, if they were telling the truth, this player would have to draw from the deck as many cards as this player played face down. This player would then become the start player for the next round. So you keep on going like this, playing rounds, playing summonings. Now, if anyone ever plays a face up 10 card, that automatically gets rid of that summoning and you start another one. If 3 players pass in a row, the first player who passed draws a new card from the deck, but they get to start the next summoning. So you keep on playing until a player gets rid of all of their cards in the hand. They win the round. If you're playing a 2-player game, you need to win 3 rounds to win the game. A 3-player game is 2 rounds, and in a 4-player game, you just need to win 1 round. So one little thing that we found whilst playing this, and we've house ruled it, is you can't lie on your final card because the next player will always call you out as bluffing. So to get around that issue, there's 2 ways you can do it. You can just amend the rules and you can say to yourself and to everyone when you're teaching them, you can never bluff on your last card in your hand. Alternatively, you could say you are allowed to bluff on your last card in your hand, and if another player calls you out but you were telling the truth, in the next round, that player gets an extra card. Now, we've been house ruling it that way, and we found that really works, and it gives a little bit of intrigue and excitement in that final card played. Otherwise, what happens is the player plays a card face down, and the next player will always call them out because you've got no choice. You've got to call them out. So that's effectively a very, very brief condensed version of how you play this game. I hope it has helped. Let me take you back up top, give you my thoughts and feelings about the game. Okay, cheers.
Okay, I hope that How to Play gave you a good idea of how Little Ghost plays and whether or not it's a game for you. Just to give you some of my final thoughts, then after I have my final thoughts in the closing section will be my rating, etc. But basically, this is a really nice game. It's really easy to understand the rules once you get used to them. There's a lot of fun gameplay to be had from this, and it's got some of the best artwork I have got on any of my small card games. I absolutely love the artwork. I've really enjoyed learning this game, teaching it to other people, and I will be taking this with me whenever I go to visit people and for a gaming day or what have you, and say, hey, look at this really unusual little card shedding game that I have. I've tried various different methods to win this game, from shorting a suit to bluffing almost every turn, and lots of other methods. But in reality, what you're doing when you're playing this game is you're playing the other players as much as the hand you're dealt with. Now, don't get me wrong, this is a card shedding, trick taking game, and it has the usual problem that if you're dealt a perfect hand at the beginning, you're most likely going to win that round. However, this game kind of has some clever ideas, because the way it deals with who goes first in a summonings, that changes depending on how the previous summoning ended. So what that means is that you may not necessarily be able to play the suits that you want to play because someone else is calling a different summoning suit. So that's really nice, and it mitigates some of those issues that card shedding, trick taking games normally have. Little Ghost is going to take place amongst some of my other favourite little card shedding games, as it's a quirky small card game combined with loads of player interaction, and some of the best artwork, like I said previously. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I highly recommend you go seek out this game. I will put a link in the description to the website so that you can find this. Now, obviously, this was sent to me. It's a review copy. All opinions are my own, as per usual. And one of the things that I'm doing now is I'm asking myself, this has been a review copy, which has been great. Would I go out and buy this game for myself? And the answer to that is yes. This is a game that, had someone else taught it to me, I'd be looking to go and find this game. So I hope that gives you a good feeling as to whether or not this is a game for you. If you like small card games, small shedding, trick-taking games with great artwork, then you can't go wrong. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. I'm Neil from Board Game Happy. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. Chuck any comments below and I will always come back to you. And I'll see you on the next one. Okay, cheers.